Okay, now we start our lesson 2. In this lesson, as I mentioned, we're gonna create an ASP.NET page that will basically insert a record inside the employee table that we did in the previous lesson. So let's see what we're gonna do. First step is basically to go ahead and open the website project that we did from last week. So I'm gonna go ahead and browse to that website. The default location usually is inside Visual Studio Projects websites. So that was the example we did last week. Let's take this example. Remember, we had multiple pages we did. Page 1, page 2, 3, 4, up to 6, and then we had multiple examples we did to demonstrate database connectivity. So today what we will do is we will show you how we do the ASP.NET with the database connectivity part. So let's go ahead and start. Our first step, as you see, is to add a page. And to do that, this is the project. We right click on it and always go and do this add new item. So add new item is our first step, and we pick always web form, and I'm gonna change the default name to insert employee. That would be the name of the ASP.NET page, and make sure the language is Visual C#, because that is the language we adapted for the class. So web form, we put the page name and we hit add, and now we have a new page added, and this is the page. As you could see, it's called insert employee. Two files, the ASP.NET file along with the C# file or the code file behind that ASP.NET page. Now this page is basically blank, as you could see. We just have a blank page. Now our role is to quickly start adding controls that will allow us to insert data inside that table. And to remember what table we have, we're just going to go ahead and connect to our database. Remember, you could either add a connection if you already have it to that database, then you just refresh that connection, and we're going to look at the tables. And one of the tables I have is, as you see, the employee table is in here. If we right click and do open table definition, then we will see the columns we have in that table. We basically have those or these fields. We have the ID of type integer, and then we have the rest of the fields, first, last, social security, and so on for the rest of the fields. It is very crucial that we pay attention to the data types of the fields, because that makes a big difference when we are to insert or retrieve data. So let's go back. We're going to keep going back and forth. We need to remember the fields that are in the table, so we put the right data type when we do the insert. Our step 1 is to go to the table here and start adding controls. We could open the toolbox. By the way, the toolbox is hidden. You could always bring it from the view menu. You could always see the toolbox. This is it. The same thing applies to the Solution Explorer window. Same thing applies to the server window. It's going to be under other windows in case if it's hidden, as you see. So if you are looking for a certain window is not there, just always go on and pull it from inside the view menu. So now going back to the toolbox, my job is I'm gonna make it kind of fixed now, because I want to drag and drop a lot of controls. We are intending to add controls, one for each field in the table. And so just to remind you, let me just drag the first one. That's our first text box. As you see, if I keep switching back and forth between design mode and source mode, it shows that it added a text box. It's an ASP control of type AS text box, and it named it by default text box 1, and we're going to change that just in a few minutes. Now what I want to do is I want to just add them quickly, and then later we start doing the changes. So we have second field, we have the third one, and we have the fourth one. So how many we have? We just go look at the table. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we need to have 10